Hello culinary students, for today's recipe we are making a coulant. There's too many variations about the coulant, but in this case we are going to do the original recipe from a named chef called Michel Brass. Hope you like it and take notes. First of all, for the dark chocolate course we got a bain-marie, and in another bowl we are going to put the dark chocolate chopped. And secondly, we are going to add the butter in cubes at room temperature. I recommend it. Then we are going to start mixing the preparation of these two ingredients in the bowl. Don't forget to get ready your bain-marie. With the help of a silicone spatula, you have to start mixing. Then we are going to add the cream. When you start adding the cream, secondly we are going to add the water. That is a good important ingredient there because it's going to get the proper texture of melting point when we finish the dessert. And for last we are going to add the coffee extract. Then we are going to start mixing again with the silicone spatula. And passing the minutes, you're going to get an homogeneous mixture that with help of the movement of stirring the mixture, you're going to get a nice mixture of chocolate and cream. Well, be aware to scrap all the edges in the bowl and without any lumps of chocolate there in the mixture. Okay, then we are going to rest the mixture for 15 minutes and to cool down the mixture, and then we are going to mold it in a silicone mold. Well, first of all we are going to get the help of a portion funnel like we see on the screen. We are going to put all the mixture of chocolate in the funnel, and then when we finish to put all the chocolate mixture, we are going to portion it in our silicone portion mat, and we are going to fill the cavities, and we are going to freeze the cores for at least 2 hours for the molding in a blast chiller or a freeze. For the second recipe we got the ice cream, in this case in a large pot. We are going to start the preparation. First of all, you have to do a mixture of sugar with milk powder. With the help of a whisk, you can mix it well, and then you start to reserve it aside. And then we are going to add the cream and milk together in the large pot. We need to match these two ingredients. Then we are going to turn on the fires and start to simmer the mixture of milk and cream. With the help of a whisk, start mixing. Don't forget to scrap all your bowls to get all the ingredients there with the help of a silicone spatula, and then we keep going to stirring. Then we are going to add the sugar and milk powder. We switch with a whisk and mix the mixture for at least like 3 minutes or 5 to get an homogeneous mixture of milk, cream, sugar and milk powder. Very good. Don't forget to simmer, not boiling but just simmer. Then we are going to switch the mixture to a cool down recipient or container, because we are going to turbinate the mixture in an ice cream machine. turbinate the mixture. Obviously the mixture needs to cool down, and turbinate the mixture for at least 12 minutes in an ice cream machine. Then in a container for ice cream, or in a cold bowl, pick up your mixture of ice cream, and you have to put it in the container with the help of a silicone spatula, and then you have to reserve it in the blast chiller or freezer till you are going to use it. As you see, get the proper mixture and proper texture of your ice cream. Then we got the caramel and coffee sauce reduction. That is a recipe that contains glucose. In this case, we back to the fires. You have to put your glucose and sugar together on the fire and start cook it, because we are going to make a caramel. For the caramel, I recommend that you use a silicone spatula and start moving when it starts bubbling. Anticipate your coffee and water, because it's going to be the deglaze for your caramel. In this case, we got the caramel, and we are going to push the flavor of the caramel at the line, because I want to a marked flavor from caramel when we finish with the sauce. In this case, the caramel needs to start bubbling to add the coffee and water mixture. In this case, you can see it on the screen right now. The glaze with the water and coffee, and then stir the mixture to stop the bubbling. Then when you finish your coffee sauce reduction, put it in a clean bowl and reserve it for plating. It's going to be shiny and very thick. That it is important, because all the melting here textures, it's on the coolant. It is important to get a thick texture on the sauce. Then we got the garnish of dried coffee and milk powder. For this it's a basic preparation of powders. In this case, we got the sugar powder, then the dried coffee that contains a few lumps of dried coffee, but in this case we are going to help the help of a colander. Don't forget the milk powder there. And then we got the 3 powders. We are going to get a quick mix with the help of a tablespoon. Just mix it. Then we are going to use the colander and sieve all the powder through the plastic colander, and you can help the process with a tablespoon. And then we are going to pass all the lumps or chunks of the dried coffee. When we finish, we are going to mix it again, and that's it for the garnish. We have to reserve it. Then we got the chocolate biscuit for the coulant. We are going to start with the butter and almond powder. With the help of a silicone spatula, you can start to mix the 2 ingredients. We got the butter and we got the almond powder. Then we are going to add the rice flour. In this case, it's going to get the texture of a paste of almond powder with rice flour. And finally, we are going to add some egg yolks in the preparation. That is going to be our first mixture of the biscuit, of the chocolate biscuit. Well, in this case we are going to add the egg yolks. Adding the egg yolks, we are going to get the final texture there in the paste. For the paste, you can choose the whisk to mix the ingredients, or if it's too dry, in this case happens in the operation, you can switch for a silicone spatula. The silicone spatula helps a lot and get the proper texture of the paste. When we got the first mixture, then for the second mixture we are going to put some egg whites and sugar in a mixer with the help of the attachment of the whisk. We are going to do a French meringue that is a direct meringue that only goes with the egg whites and the sugar properly, and you have to whisk it. Then for the final texture, you are going to get a shiny and white meringue with the texture that you see on the screen. That is important to see it. Then when we got the proper texture of the meringue, and you don't forget your almond paste, we are going to put it together with the help of a silicone spatula. We are going to start mix both mixtures, and we're going to do it in 4 steps. A little by little, you're going to add the meringue in the almond paste, and then you are going to get a proper mixture that is going to be fluffy and creamy with a little bit of the air of the meringue and the softness of the butter and the almond powder. Important thing here is to rub all the meringue inside of the almond paste to get the proper mixture. Then at last we are going to add the melted chocolate. I recommend for the temperature that when you add the chocolate, the melted chocolate needs to be at 30 degrees Celsius to not sacrifice the air bubbles that you got on the mixture that you do it with the meringue and the almond paste. Okay, in this case we are going to put all at once because the chocolate got a good temperature to mix it. Then at the same time we are going to rub it in the final mixture to get a mixture of chocolate biscuit that goes into the chocolate course of the coulant. Okay, well, in this case we are going to use a plastic pastry bag that is going to be the help for pipe this biscuit. Then we are going to the cooking ring molds. That is important to see it, because it's going to be the mold that is going to help us to bake all these coulants and get the easy job done. Okay, for the cooking ring molds we got again butter at room temperature, and we are going to put a layer on the cooking ring molds that is going to be like the function of the glue or a glue for the parchment paper rectangles that we built, as you see. Then for the parchment paper we are going to put a layer again of the butter, as you see. In the we are going to get the help of the sheet pan to put it in order and put it some butter there. That is going to be a layer with the parchment paper, and then we are going to dust it, these lines of parchment paper, with cocoa powder. The cocoa powder is going to get another layer that is going to get the right and proper help to not stick the biscuit with the ring. when we bake the dessert. Well, in this case we got a parchment belt, a parchment paper belt, and we are going to put it on the cooking ring molds, and then we are going to put it on the sheet pan and assembly and build the dessert for baking at the oven. Okay, well, for the chocolate course passing the 2 hours, it's going to be like this. Don't forget to demold it, it is important, guys. And then we are ready for finish the coulants and baking. Assembling the coulants, well, we got the cooking ring molds with the parchment paper belts, and then we got the biscuit, the chocolate biscuit, and we're going to build a base, piping some of the biscuit at the bottom. Then in the center we are going to put a little amount. We are going to repeat on the second cooking ring mold the same, and a little bit amount on the center, your chocolate dark core on the center. Again, we repeat the process, and with the pastry bag we have to fill again with the biscuit, with the chocolate biscuit, as you see on this cooking ring molds, and we're ready. We are going to bake at least 175 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. Don't forget to rest 5 minutes, and when you get all this time for bake, you can prepare your mise en place of elements for making the dessert and plate it. Well, in this case we got done the coulant. We are going to take out the cooking ring mold of the coulant. Goes easy. Then we are going to start with the garnish of coffee, sugar, and milk powder. You can be creative on the plating, just a little bit of the amount. Then we got the chocolate, we got the caramel sauce reduction, in this case with the help of the cornet. I'm going to put a few drops of the coffee sauce reduction on the plate. You can put many forms if you want to use a tablespoon, or you want to use the funnel portion. The portioning funnel works well too. It depends that what tool you prefer to plate your dessert. Okay, in this case we finish with the sauce, and then for coronate the coulant, we finish the plate. We got the cream ice cream. This is the finished dessert, and just wait for do it, enjoy, and don't forget to crack it on the center to get these melting points of these desserts that goes amazing.